Welcome back to Edna Talks. I'm your host, Juan Leiva from Universitat Autónoma de Barcelona in Spain. We often hear that the solution to the global nursing shortage is simply recruitment, but bringing a nurse to a new country is just the first step. The real challenge and then the real magic happens in how we welcome, integrate, and keep them. Today, we are looking at the big picture. We are joined by Hanna Repo-Jamal from Metropolia University of Applied Science in Helsinki, Finland. She works as the Director of Research and Development Program, Equitable and Diverse Life in the Future Proof Health and Wellbeing Innovation Hub. She's here to tell us why teaching a language isn't enough, why organizational culture matters more than you think, and how we can design a healthcare system that is truly equitable. Hannah, welcome to Edna Talks.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you here. Hannah, looking at your current work at Metropolia University, you're leading a research and development program with a very powerful title, Equitable and Diverse Life. That is a beautiful ambition, but it's also a massive challenge. In practical terms, what are you actually trying to build or change within the healthcare system through this program?
Well, they are really big and massive challenges, as you said. And first of all, we are transdisciplinary by nature. So we recognize that these phenomena are so complex that they can't be solved within one discipline. So we are very transdisciplinary by nature. And we also operate in ecosystem basis. So we also recognize that all the wisdom don't live inside our walls. So we have built a large ecosystem with different stakeholders. We have businesses and citizens and working life partners and all kinds of different stakeholders, and the ecosystem is a long-term commitment in this developmental work. So it's not just one project and then it ends, but we work in a long-term ecosystem basis. And then we also use this participatory RDI partnership model, which means that when we want to develop something for someone, then the target group is always involved from day one in planning of new projects and in all the phases of the project.
This is so interesting. Sorry.
Yeah, and we have picked some research and development themes that we are focusing under this program, and they are quite large, as I said, and we have many different disciplinaries here involved. But we are very much focused in building and enhancing equitable working life and also education. So how people with different backgrounds can access education and working life and how we can support them in a good way, and also different kinds of issues related to multicultural society and two-way integration in, for example, in working life and in multicultural teams, but also in societal level. And we are also very focused in language aware communication and practices and supporting multilingual communities, and also lately how to use language technology in support of working life.
Wow, that's massive because it's like you're covering all the domains of cultural competence. And I loved the idea of including the citizens in the transdisciplinary team, because I think many of the interventions that we design or we implement, they fail because they are not adapted to their realities, or their needs. So I think this is a very, very good point.
Yeah, it's really needed indeed
It is.
to
It
have the
is.
people with you to plan, to design, then
Exactly.
to do the project and do the continuous evaluation and everything.
Exactly. At the end, it's like they are, let's say, between brackets, they are our customers. So we
Mm.
need to define the product that perfectly satisfies their needs. So we need them in the decision making and the design, etc. So congratulations for that. And Hannah, we all know Europe is facing a severe nursing shortage. Well, I would say all over the world, and the quick fit is often just to recruit heavily from abroad. But lately, you've been focusing on a concept called ethically sustainable nurse migration. That's a really important distinction. What does sustainable migration actually look like, and how do we ensure we aren't just filling our own gaps while draining resources from elsewhere?
Well, ethical recruitment is not only compliance with international guidelines, but it's a commitment, like a long-term commitment to transparency, fairness, and
Mhm.
long-term workforce sustainability. And particular attention should be given to recognition of prior learning, qualifications, and professional experience. And currently, there are many practices that can result in unnecessary additional education. So if you are a registered nurse, you should be working as a registered nurse, not in different positions. And if somebody already has a full degree, you should not study another full degree in the same field. And also de-skilling, so the skills are not recognized, and this may result to that that a nurse is positioned, yeah, or it can lead to that a nurse works in a lower position
Mhm.
than what is actually their competence level, and these practices are just waste of human capital,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they really reinforce the structural inequalities. And in ethically sustainable recruitment, it's very important that education and working life and then the authorities, they all work together, and that there is a collaboration between countries and authorities. And if and when there are some local agents to be used in recruitment, they have to be very carefully assessed that their operations are ethically grounded.
Wow. It's very important as well, because at the end it's a matter of human rights, because
Mm.
some dangerous issues can arise from these migration practices, or and I mean, it's like there are always bad people around, and can promote like non-safe spaces. And also, I was thinking that how is it paid in Finland? The training, is it paid by the citizens' taxes? Is a free training?
It depends,
It
but
depends.
but in principle, the higher education in Finland is free of charge for European Union citizens,
Mhm. Mhm.
and then people coming from outside of European Union have tuition fees. But
Uh-huh.
then we also have some projects where the education could be free of charge. So it depends.
Yeah. So at the end, that's where I was thinking in terms of ethically sustainable nurse migration. It's also important to check how we are spending the taxes. I mean, from the government, etc. So it's like we have to look after the whole system in terms of spending the taxes. So.
Mm.
At the end, ethics is always, it's like everywhere, and sometimes I think we missed the ethical part. So congratulations for that as well.
But in here, that's the core point that we need to have in mind, and we have
It
to look
is.
at the people, and we
It
have to
is.
support the accreditation and the local language skills, and also the integration even before the people come to the country, and then during the migration, and also after that. So there needs to be a continuum. We really have to take care of these people.
It is. It's very important for them. It's also very important for the patients, because at the end, it's a matter of safety, etc. But yeah, we have to look after these people. It's not just a matter of filling the gaps. It's as you said, the whole process. And I found also one part of your recent work fascinating. You're looking at the pedagogical solutions that combine professional language learning with organizational culture. I think many listeners assume that if a nurse passes a language test, they are ready to work. Why isn't language enough? Why is teaching that organizational culture piece so critical for safety?
Well, we have developed a functionally bilingual nursing education model um, over the past 5 years, and we've done quite a lot of research around it. And in this model, in the core of this model, we see that the local language learning is a part that cannot be separated from professional competence.
Mm-hmm.
So the language skills, they are part of professional competence. And rather than treating language skills as a precondition, like something that an individual nurse, you have to get it yourself and study yourself, or something that you have to study separately in a classroom and from a book. Our model integrates the language learning with the clinical and professional education. So they are integrated and they go hand in hand all the time. And this also constitutes a more ethically sustainable
Yeah,
pathway into the labor market, because when you know the language skills, then it enhances also your integration, and you are in a better position in the
mm-hmm.
labor markets
Yeah,
in a European country. And always, like, language and integration, they go hand in hand. So
yeah.
it's very important from that perspective as well.
Yeah. But
And
it,
learning a language in healthcare is social by nature, and it should be workplace based.
mhm,
So you learn the best when you are actually in the real life situations where you use the language and you are exposed to the language all the time. You do not learn a language from a book. Of course, you need that too, but that's not how you learn how
yeah,
to use the language and how to use it in nursing and in healthcare. And that's often an issue that a migrant nurse who is learning the language may not be using the language in their everyday life. Like, they have probably another language at home, and maybe they meet with friends who speak other languages. So it's very essential to be exposed to the local language
yeah.
in the professional setting.
It is true. And at the end, it's like learning by doing it in the natural context. Yeah, it makes sense. And you mentioned that Metropolia has these innovation hubs. Sometimes when nurses hear like research and development, they think of technology or machines, robots. Can you give us a concrete example of one of your ongoing projects that is helping human beings, um, such as nurses or patients, to connect better in these multicultural environments?
Sure. Um, we have had in the past about 16 projects that have been targeted for immigrants and their employment and enhancing language and cultural awareness in multicultural teams and these kind of themes. So we do have a lot of experience on that.
Wow.
Maybe something that I could mention is an Erasmus project called
Mhm.
ProHealth Language Hub, which is targeted for foreign background nurses, where we want to combine AI and language technology so that students and also nurses, they can practice the nursing language skills. So they will be talking with AI patients and they will be talking about the everyday nursing conversations.
Wow.
And we also want to combine that with some modern digital pedagogy and language assessments and feedback so that the students or nurses, they can practice wherever they want to. It's not connected to any time or place, or we are also not tying any teacher resources so they can use that freely anytime. And on
Mhm.
top of that, we also want to do some work-based collaborative learning because that's that's a strong message. I want to say that this is not a responsibility of an individual nurse who is migrating to Finland or any other country, but it should be seen as something that is done in the workplaces and collaborative learning and co-developing together with the multicultural teams.
Mhm. Wow. And from your perspective as a director of research and development program, where are we still failing? I mean, if you look at a highly skilled international nursing arriving in Finland, or let's say any other country in Europe, what is the biggest barrier that they still face when that we haven't solved yet? I mean, what is the biggest barrier we still need to fix?
Well, a lot of work has been done, but a lot of work also remains to be done.
Yeah, yeah,
I would say the biggest issue is probably the attitudes and the atmosphere. So when there's a will, there's a way. And if
yeah.
the attitudes are very negative, it's difficult to enhance these things. So this requires continuous work that we affect on the attitudes of employers, teams, supervisors, individual nurses. And this comes through education, and it comes through many of these projects that we have been doing and many colleagues have been doing, that we actually go there in the workplaces and we co-develop the linguistically aware and culturally aware practices together. So it's not something that is it's not something that is scary or because quite often people, when something is new or they are not familiar with that, that's where the attitudes rise. So we really try to lower the barrier in that sense.
Wow. And if you could implement one change across Europe, nursing schools to make our workforce, sorry, truly future-proof, what would that change be?
Mm, well, I would like to implement this functionally bilingual pedagogy into the nursing education. So the basic idea that language skills is part of the professional competence and it should be supported by the employers. So it's not something that when somebody graduates or somebody migrates, they do not come as completely ready
No,
as
no.
it's natural. You have some level of competence and skills, and then when you enter the working life, you get support there and you continue to develop. So that kind of similar thinking when it comes to linguistic skills as well. And also another thing, um, it's been thought a lot at the moment that the development of the language skills is a responsibility of the individual nurse. So that's what I would also like to change and twist the thinking completely, that no, this is something that we learn together, and we will find ways to learn together and support this as a team, and employers and supervisors. It's not just the responsibility of an individual nurse or nursing student.
Yeah, it's like co-responsibility. It's like we all have things to say and do. And also, I like the idea that nursing is like a lifelong learning process. I mean, this is not just getting your degree and you have finished. I always say to my students, it's the beginning of your life. I mean, you're gonna be studying forever because yeah, we have to update our knowledge, we have to learn new skills, etc. So it's like until the day you will retire, you will be learning. And we have also talked about high-level research and development and strategic goals. But for the nurse manager or for the clinical mentor listening to this podcast, someone who has a new international colleague starting on their board or their unit tomorrow morning, let's say, what is the single most effective thing they can do to help that person feel they truly belong?
Well, I would say we start from empathy,
Yeah.
which we can't really emphasize. So imagine yourself in the same position, that you are in a foreign country and you don't know the language so well yet. You are learning the language still, and you go in a whole new healthcare setting. How would you feel? And what would you want yourself? That's something we have to start with.
Yeah.
And also show interest to the
Uh-huh.
person. Who are you? Where are you coming from? What would you like to learn? How can we support you? And also give time. It takes time to orientate and to learn all these things. And for that, we need a structured orientation process, how we support new colleagues in our teams. And one concrete tool that we have been using with our students and in our project is a so-called language agreement,
Mm-hmm.
which is a form that you can fill in when you supervise a student or when you are orientating a new colleague, or you can do it also with the whole team or the work community. And the whole idea is to make it visible that this person is learning the language, to show
Uh-huh.
what is the level, what are the goals, and what are you going for, and also to agree about practical things like how would you wish to be corrected if you make a mistake, and or shall we talk English or Finnish during the breaks in the coffee room, and things like that. So these are all the things that lower the barrier, and people are not so scared or have negative attitudes when you actually openly talk about these things and you agree about these things. So this is how we agree that we are all going to be doing. So then it's
Mm-hmm.
clear for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. So at the end, it's a matter of empathy, as you said, interest and support, making it realistic and adapted to their to their needs. Is that
Yes.
is that is that correct? Yeah.
Yes.
And we are almost finishing our conversation. This is the last question, Hannah. Despite the shortages and the systemic challenges we have discussed, you're leading a program focused on enhancing equitability and diversity in different sectors. What is the one thing you see in your research or your students that makes you optimistic about the future of European nursing? I mean, shall we be optimistic?
Oh, this is a good question. Especially now when we are living in a very, very turbulent
Yeah,
era. A lot of
yeah.
things are happening globally at
Hmm.
the same time. Mm, but I would say it's the students and how they are open-minded and they are ready to go and change the world for a better place to all of us, and how they grew up in a global and multicultural world, and kind of like naturally see the value of diversity and different backgrounds and opinions and languages and such things. I would say that's the motivation.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. Totally agree. Hannah, what a fascinating look into the future of our profession. A massive thank you for sharing your expertise on how we can move from a simple recruitment to meaningful, ethical integration. Thank you so much, Hannah, for your time, for your knowledge, and for your experience.
Thank you so much, and feel free to contact me if you want to do some kind of R&D collaborations. I'm really happy to
For sure. And I'm sure the listeners also may contact you.
yeah, let's hope so.
Exactly. Thank you so much. And to you, our listeners, thank you for tuning in another episode of Edna Talks. If conversations like this sparks your interest, I have an invitation for you. Did you know that becoming a member of European Transcultural Nursing Association is completely free? By joining Etna, you get access to a network of professionals just like Hannah, who are dedicated to making healthcare more inclusive. You can sign up today at www.europeantransculturalnurses.eu. Please, if you found value to this episode, share it with your colleagues, to your friends, to your students, and see you next time in the next episode. Bye bye.